Dun, 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 dun. All right, so we are currently live, and I'm waiting for you guys to show up. I just sent a message within the, what is it called, the mastermind chat, to let you know that the session is going on. So now I get to play the waiting game. Oh, I see we got someone in the group right now. Who is that? Jirish, what is up, man? What's going on? How are you doing? Yeah, I think it's just us two right now in the chat, but it is totally cool. All right. Let's go ahead and wait a couple more minutes and wait for a couple more people to show up. Oh, I think we got another person in the group right now. Let's see who else showed up. Giselle. Hi, Giselle. How's it going? Jurish said he's tired. He just got back from the gym. That is what I'm going to do after this webinar. Or I guess after this feedback session, I should say. Yeah, I've had a long day too. Oh, and then we got another 2 people in the group. Okay, let's see who else joined. If you guys are here now, go ahead and let me know in the chat. Giselle, I am doing good. I've been working on like music and also building the platform for this course. So I've been pretty busy all day today. Thank you for asking. And I think we got 3 more people. Oh, we got 5 people total within the group. That is awesome. Yeah, like I said, if you guys are here, let me know in the chat. I'm curious to see who's here. I know we got Garish and also Giselle in the chat right now. And I think since we got 5 people, I'm just going to go ahead and start doing a couple different reviews and offer feedback on a couple different songs. So, since I know 2 of the people are definitely here, what I'm going to go ahead and do is listen to their track. So, for the first submission, I'm kind of doing it like first come, first serve. We're going to go ahead and listen to Garish. Let's listen to a submission. Very cool. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and start giving my feedback in terms of the actual criteria that I provided for the assignments. So, a couple of things that I asked for this week was to create a file directory, and to go ahead and put your projects and also your samples within that folder. So I guess I can't really check that since you submitted a song, but as long as you guys did that, you guys are in good shape. Also, I wrote on the assignment to make a 4 or 8 bar loop drum pattern, and upon listening to the submission, I could definitely hear a lot longer than 4 or 8 bars, which is good. So you went above and beyond for that expectation. And it sounds like when I was listening to it, you had a couple different like MIDI parts happening with kind of like a chord progression with like a pad and also drums. So that was awesome. I could definitely tell that you incorporated audio samples and also MIDI channels. So you went ahead and got everything done. That's really good. Now, from a, I guess, listener's perspective, when I was listening to this, the drum part in the middle, you know, like after you had that like quarter note part, so right here, you had really cool drum samples. I definitely like them, but I will go ahead and move them around to maybe go ahead and put them a little bit more lined up, and then that way, once we like move those drum parts around, it will feel a little bit more natural, because right now it seems like the drums are in a very odd location within the actual like measure. So definitely fix that. Yeah, you have really good drum samples, and I feel like I was since you have like a picture of like a Pokemon, I felt like I was like listening to like a Pokemon song in the beginning, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so just kind of like changing up the arrangement of the drums in the middle, and then maybe making it so that the beginning part transitions to the middle a little bit smoother, and then the middle into the ending. Other than that, you did really good for this assignment. You definitely did everything that was asked for, and as long as you have your directory and all of your files organized on your computer when you're producing, then you are in good shape. So good job for this week. I noticed Amanda just joined the chat, so I wanted to extend a warm greeting to Amanda. Hi there. Thank you for signing up for the course, and I hope you're having an awesome day. We just listened to Garisha's submission for the week. You are welcome, my man. Not a problem. That's what I'm here for. Okay, so the next person that was actually active within the group was Giselle. So we're going to go ahead and listen to her submission. It's a short audio clip. Says session 1 drum pattern. Awesome nomenclature. So let's go ahead and listen to that. Cool. Yeah, you definitely did the assignment, and I think that was like maybe like a 4-bar loop of like a drum pattern. It seems like you're getting used to writing in MIDI parts and also, you know, making noise within like a new production software. So that's pretty cool. And then since I'm grading you based on like the requirements that was asked for within the assignment, you definitely got the loop figured out. Make sure you have your file directory organized, like I mentioned before. Get your plugins, project files, and samples in there. Based off the name of this project, it seems like you already found like a nomenclature to use when you're producing, so that's really good. Keep that up. Now moving forward from like a musical perspective, this particular drum pattern, when I was listening to it, you had like the kick drum on the offbeat, which is kind of throwing me off a little bit. You can do that, but you kind of got to do it tastefully. I would just say to like keep expanding, maybe like add more parts, try adding like different MIDI instruments, like maybe drag in a piano and put in like a note or two there just to make it a little bit more well-rounded. And also, I think your drum sample sounded pretty good, but just always experiment and try to bring in new audio samples when you're working. And next week, we're actually going to have a lesson where I'm going to show you where to find samples, and also where you can get a lot of really good samples for free, and even some good ones that you can pay for. So that's going to be a really good lesson. Stay tuned until next week, and good job on this week's assignment, Giselle. Finally, I was looking within the submissions, and I think we only had 3 people submit so far. So we had Garish, Giselle, and also Amanda make a submission. One second, let me respond to the chat real quick. Okay, now back to the assignments. Let's go ahead and open up Amanda's submission for the week. So let's see what she has. Alright, so for this particular submission, if I'm going to be grading it like I was grading the other ones, or I guess if I were to review it like I was reviewing the other ones, I did ask for like a 4-bar or 8-bar loop. That sounded like a 1-bar loop, and in order to tell you what like a bar is, so 1 bar is actually 1 measure, and within a measure you just count to 4. So what you have there is technically 1 measure because it's only 4 counts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I was asking for a submission that would be 4 or 8 times as long as that, and perhaps I could have been more clear in the instructions, but I'll definitely go ahead and fix that for you. So far, you definitely put some drums in there, you found a way to export it, and you found a way to make sound, which is good, and we're just gonna have to keep expanding on that, figuring out how to put in more sounds, how to put in different instruments, and yeah, we'll just go from there. And Amanda, you are brand new to this, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure to make all the instructions completely clear and make sure you understand everything. And once again, I am in the chat right now, just responding to people. And Amanda, it is totally fine that you're completely new to this. You still have a lot to learn, and we're going to make sure to get you caught up to speed in no time. Now, I noticed Steve over here. I'm not sure if you're in the YouTube chat or if you're in the YouTube stream right now, but you posted a WAV file into the assignment. Now, that's totally fine, but just to make it easy on everyone, I have been telling everyone to upload the song onto SoundCloud and then post the private link within the weekly assignment submission. So what I'm going to go ahead and do this time around, I'm going to open up the song and actually play it off of my desktop. But once I'm done listening to the song, I'm actually going to give you a little bit of feedback, and then after that I'm going to show you how to upload it to SoundCloud and how to create a private link so you know for next time you decide to do this. Over here, let me open up the project real quick. So this is going to be Steve's submission for the week. Let's go ahead and check it out. That was pretty cool. That was a really interesting pattern. like I was reviewing all of the assignments before, you can definitely tell that this is like a 4-bar loop, which is good. You open up like a MIDI channel and you wrote in like a MIDI part. You also found a way to export it, and that's great. So based on the criteria provided, that was really good. Moving forward, if I were to be listening to this, I would just say to keep adding more parts until it sounds like a song. But we haven't covered that much, so that is totally fine. And we'll get around to doing that with the following weeks. So going back to the chat real quick, let's see if we have any other people. We have someone asking where you can find the assignment instructions. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is share my screen and show you guys how to do that. Give me 1 second while I pull that window up. Okay, so we had someone ask where they can find the assignment instructions, and over here within the platform, you will go ahead and click on Ableton Live 101.3. You will go into the week that we're in. So we are currently within week 1. In there, there's going to be a tab called Assignment. So you go ahead and click on it, and the assignment instructions are listed there. Now, an alternative place where you can find the assignment instructions would be within the video lessons. Scroll all the way down to the recap, and the assignment instructions are going to be right there. I went ahead and posted the link within the chat room, and yep, that is where it is. And then so Steve uploaded the assignment within the actual platform, but from now on, let's go ahead and find a way to upload it to SoundCloud like the rest of the people that are currently in the group. Let me just go ahead and check the chat to make sure I got everything. And like I mentioned before, I was going to do like a video demonstration of how to go ahead and upload your music to SoundCloud. So let's go ahead and do that. Over here, I got SoundCloud bookmarked. And if you want to go ahead and upload music, first of all, you got to make sure that you have a account with SoundCloud. Once you go ahead and make your account, you can go ahead and click this button up here, which is upload. Now when you choose your file to upload, you'll click right here, and it automatically pulls up whatever folder you had open last. So for example, I believe this is Steve's submission right here. I'm just going to go ahead and open it. And when you open it, it's going to start uploading. You want to go over here and make sure in the privacy down at the bottom, it's on private, unless you want it to be public, of course. But for the sake of like music and like your page and stuff like that, I typically don't publish anything until I think it's completely done. If you want to go ahead and post something, that's totally fine. Now once it is uploaded, it will tell you ready, click save to post this track. You'll go ahead and hit the save button, and then you can do one of two things. Over here you have a little link, so you can go ahead and copy that, or you can go to your track, and once the track is uploaded, you can hit the share button and make sure to copy this link right here. Now remember that you don't take the link up here and copy that, because that's only available to you if you're the one that is the owner of the SoundCloud page. But if you want to share it with other people, make sure to click the share button and highlight that link right there. So that is how you would do that. I think we got a couple more messages over here in Telegram. So we have Steve Clark asking, will the SoundCloud instructions be available after the session? Yes, they are going to be available. So all of these sessions are actually going to be available on your platform. So like I mentioned before, let me open that up again. When you go into the platform and you click on week 1, once this feedback session is over, you'll just click on that same exact place and there will just be a video right here and you will be able to access it whenever you want. So every single week when we have the feedback session, once we are finished, the video is just going to be uploaded to the feedback session corresponding to the week in which it was a part of. So that is how you can go ahead and re-watch all the feedback sessions. And I guess now I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor and ask you guys if you have any questions for me, if you guys need help with anything, or if you guys want to learn anything. So we got a little bit of time left. So open up the chat room in Telegram and YouTube and let me know what you guys wanted to hear. Garish said, how do you inspire yourself to get new ideas? That's a great question. So I believe that inspiration comes from like real life experiences. And a lot of times when it comes to me making music, creativity comes from a lot of different places. So as a quick example, something that I believe that all music producers should do is learn how to play an instrument. Myself personally, I actually play about 6 different instruments. So I first started with guitar, then I learned how to play the bass, the piano. I was in a couple different bands, so whenever we would have band practice, I would start playing the drums. I taught myself the violin and also a saxophone. And when I was learning all of those different instruments, I was either learning a song that I really liked, or I was going in and just making my own music. And when you play instruments, it becomes really easy to get inspiration because you already understand the instrument and how music works a little bit. After that, you kind of like jam out and you come up with ideas. And I think it's really good to record yourself playing an instrument and then just listening back to it and hearing what sounds good. And after that, making a song out of it. That's one way that you can write music. Another good way to get inspired is to learn about music theory. And music theory is really good because that is pretty much the science behind music. And you can use that to help you come up with melodies or even chord progressions in your head. You can even write rhythms using music theory. And then that way, you can kind of understand how music works so you can get a better understanding of how to write the things that are in your head. Another thing that I think is like really good, this is more like production based. I really like doing sound design, and sometimes when I'm doing sound design, I will hear a particular sound that I like a lot, and that will pretty much push me to create a whole entire song that is based around that one particular song. Another thing that's like really good is listening to music. Maybe you hear something that you really love, and you're gonna want to go ahead and try to make something similar. That way you can just kind of like pull a song in Ableton and kind of try to like reverse engineer everything that your favorite producer did when they were making that song. So those are like 4 different ways that I get inspiration for writing music, and I think that different methods work for different people. You just gotta kind of find what works for you and then stick with it. So Amanda said, I have a Yamaha keyboard. If I get a cable to adapt to my laptop, will it work with Ableton to make MIDI? Thanks. Yeah, totally. What you're going to have to do is, I know probably which Yamaha keyboard you're talking about because I've had a Yamaha keyboard before. And in the back of it, you're going to have a cable which is going to say USB. And what you can do is you can get like a typical USB 2.0 or even a USB 3.0 cable and plug that right into your computer. That way, you can go ahead and use your controller as like a MIDI controller. So for example, I have like an Acorn Master Key 61 and I use like a USB cable. It's like the same cable that you can use for like most computer electronics or which you would use for like a printer, and you literally just put that into your computer. Sometimes what you'll have to do is you might have to get a driver. Like for example, I just saw that you put in the chat that it's a YPT 320. What you can do is you can go online and you can Google YPT 320 Yamaha driver for Windows or for Mac, whichever one you have, and then you would download the driver. So then the next time that you plug in your keyboard, it will just be ready. And when you're in Ableton, let me show you how to set that up real quick. So let me open up Ableton and I will show you once you're in there. So when you open up Ableton, you would have to go to your preferences, and once you're within your preferences, you will click on MIDI. And down here at the bottom, it will say input. I would just go ahead and find your Yamaha keyboard and turn all of these on. So turn on the track, the sync, and the remote. And once again, that's in your preferences, which are found under options, preferences, or you can even use the keyboard shortcut, which is control and also the comma button. And then go to the MIDI tab on the left hand side. Underneath the MIDI ports, it will say your keyboard name, and you turn on track, sync, and remote, just like that. Once you have done that, what you can do is you can go ahead and, for example, let's just load up like a piano. So under your instruments, we can just find a piano. You would drag that into a MIDI channel. You would arm the recording, so that's this little red button right here. And then after that, you can just go ahead and start plugging away on your keyboard. And that should be it. And then we got Steve over here. He is asking me, what type of saxophone do you play? When I was in high school, I taught myself how to play the tenor saxophone, and I would play in band class and also within a jazz band. And when I got to college, I kind of like stopped playing the saxophone because I was focused on like DJing and producing. And I was also kind of poor, so I went ahead and I sold my saxophone to get some extra cash. Kind of sad because I really like that thing. And recently, my little brother, he kind of was playing alto saxophone for a little bit, and then he stopped. And so I asked him, like, hey man, I know you're not playing that thing anymore, can I get that from you? And he's like, yeah, totally. So now I learned how to play alto saxophone, and that's what I'm currently playing right now. And Steve, I'm pretty sure I saw a big baritone saxophone in your picture, if I'm not mistaken, and those things look really cool. Now, going back to the YouTube chat, we had Garish ask, just curious, how do you get the sound for your live stream to come out so clean when you play people's tracks? Whenever I try to live stream, it usually lags. So, when you're streaming, I think a really important thing is going and having your stream settings set up properly, and also having a really good internet connection. So for example, I have Spectrum, and my download speed is like 400 megabytes per second, and I'm pretty sure my upload speed is about 100 megabytes per second. And because I have such a good like internet speed, and I'm using like a direct like line connection into my computer, that's how I get it to come out so fluidly. So for example, if you're on Wi-Fi, you might have problems with your internet working when you're doing streams. So the best thing you can do if you're going to be doing like live streams is just have like a direct line. And if you're not by your router, there's this really cool thing you can get. It's actually called like a power link. And what it happens is you plug in like this little box into like a power outlet next to your router, and that at the bottom you can actually take an Ethernet cable from your router or your modem and then put it into that box, and then another place in your house where you have a power outlet. For example, my studio, I have another power outlet. I have this like little box that I put in, and I take the Ethernet cable from that box and put it into my computer, and I have a direct connection. So it's like really cool. I have no idea how they found out how to do this. I think it's crazy that you can just put internet through like your power lines and the connection is like so good. So that's what I'm currently doing right now. And for your stream settings, it's kind of like based off your computer. So if you have like a really good PC, you can go ahead and jack up like your video settings and your audio settings like as high as possible and make it seem very fluid. If your computer, it's like based off your specifications. If your computer is like a specific type of build, you just go online to see like what type of settings will be best for you, and you kind of like test it out and see what works and what doesn't. So yeah, Amanda, you are welcome, and Garish, you are also welcome. So yeah, we're just gonna keep the live stream going. So if you guys like have any questions, or if you guys want any specific examples of how I do things, I'm an open book, so go ahead and ask me now. At this point, I'm pretty sure I went through all the submissions. I don't think we got any new submissions. So at this point, we're just kind of hanging out, and that's what's going on. If you guys are out of questions and you guys want to take the night off because you're a little bit tired or you had a long day, that's totally cool too. You can go ahead and let me know in the chat. We do have a live session every single week, so that is always good. So back over to the YouTube comments, we have Garish asking, when coming up with a song, what's the first thing you do? And like I said, that's always different. Like I was telling you, inspiration comes from like a lot of different places, so you can literally start anywhere. A lot of times when I'm making music personally, I like to go ahead and make my drum parts before I do anything else. And when I'm making my drum parts, I also like to make sure that they sound really good. So I'll go ahead and like I'll either like tap out like a drum part, or like I'll beatbox it, you know. I'll like figure out what I want like the drums to sound like. I'll figure out like a rhythm and like a tempo. And after that, I'll just go in and I'll start writing them. So I guess let me just go ahead and do a quick example for you. And let me open up Ableton so you can see what I'm doing. Because if you can't see what I'm doing, not very helpful for you, because I just do this all the time. And the very first thing that I do when I'm working is I always open up my custom template. So I have this folder right here where I put all of my custom templates. And this is what I always start with because it has everything I need in there. Okay, so for example, like, let's say we want to make like a hip hop beat. So hip hop beats are like, so like, okay, cool. And then like over here on the top, we have like a tap button, which is really cool. So I'll be like, and that's around like 165. So now I'll turn the metronome on. Okay, cool. And then after that, I'm like, okay, so I know like what type of like drums I want, and I'll go ahead and start writing it out. A lot of times what I like doing is over here on the left, or I guess I should say the right, I'll go ahead and I'll use a sampler. So this is like a MIDI instrument called sampler. I will use that and I will just put a drum sample in there. So for example, I can just play it on my keyboard now. And make sure that when you're recording stuff, you have this option selected, reduce latency when monitoring, because that makes it really easy for your keyboard to be very responsive. And make sure that your buffer size is really low so you don't have that much latency. So in your hardware setup, I find that 256 is pretty good for the most part. So the drum beat I was doing, it was like so. All right, let's put it up to 170. That's kind of slow. So that's the drum part. Now that I know what it sounds like, I'll go ahead and record it. So F9 is the keyboard shortcut to record. And after that, I'll just take it, I'll drag it in. I will hit the keyboard shortcut Control J to consolidate it. I'll go ahead and highlight this. Let's say we want it to be on an 8th note. And when I quantize, I don't like to make it completely perfect. I like to put it at like 95 to like 97. And then this is what it sounds like. So there we go. That's the kick part. And then I kind of do the same thing for the snare or like the clap. What do I got here? That'll do for now. Let's record that. And we'll go ahead and highlight that, quantize it. Quantize that. One second, everybody. I got someone calling me. Okay. Let me see if you guys are still with me. Sorry, I'm kind of going off on like a production tangent. I hope you're okay with me just producing for you for a second. Okay, back to what we were saying. Okay, and now the snare part real quick. that'll do for now. And now over here we have this instrument, which is going to be the close hi-hat. And what I like to do for the close hi-hat, I like to go ahead and use the piano roll to write out, or I guess I should say draw out my notes like so. And just like that. So that's okay, but what I like doing for hip hop drums, which is a lot more fun, is doing like really fast, like I don't know, they do like rolls, which are like really cool. And they'll put them like right here. So they'll just do like a really fast roll like that. And then what they'll do is they will actually pitch them up and down, and I think it sounds so cool. Kind of like this. And then they'll put like a 16th note in the back, like this. And there you go. That is how I usually start my drums. I like to put in the MIDI first, and then for example, like say like I don't like how that sounds, I'll be like, that's a lame hi-hat or whatever, and then I'll just go into like my different hi-hat samples and I'll see like, okay, what do I got in here? I'll be like, okay, that sounds cooler, so I'll just swap that in here, and then you can just swap it out immediately. And then I'll be like, okay, like, well, that kick drum's cool, but I want an 808. So I'll go in here into my other samples, and I'll be like, okay, what type of 808 samples do I have? So Internet Money, they're like blowing up right now. They're really popular. Let's put that in here so you just hear what it sounds like. And I guess since we have a, what is it called? Since we have a 808, we got to go ahead and extend this. That's one of the ways of doing it, just so we can hear it ring out. And let's just do that. Da 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 da. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much how I start my songs if I'm trying to make a drum beat. Let me go back over here to the chat room. Looks like we had Giselle ask, may I set up a drum rack and save it? And when you say by set, I mean like everything I open up Ableton and it's already there. Yes, you can do that. Okay, so for example, what I just showed you, this custom template, you can make a custom template for Scratch. So I'll go ahead and I'll just go open up a new live set. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do what you were asking. We would go over to the drums and get out of here, Vimeo. Why is my email telling me I got emails? I know I got emails. Okay, you would pull a drum rack from your drums, and now we have like a blank drum kit. Let's go ahead and put a drum kit together. Kick. Okay, cool. That's a cool kick. And then we have like a snare drum right there. Maybe like a clap. And then let's go ahead and put like a hi-hat in there. Okay, so there you go. We just took 4 different drum samples from the drum hits and we put it into a drum rack. So now you have a couple different options. You see the name drum rack right here at the bottom. You can take that, drag it over here. It says save preset right there. It's like a little floppy disk, if people still know what that is. You would hit save, and then you would pick a name for it. Call it my drum kit, for whatever you want to call it. And then that gets saved over here under user library. So underneath presets, underneath drum rack, we have my drum kit. So say we delete it. Oh my god, it's gone. What do we do? You just take it, put it back down here, boom, you got it. Okay, now your other option, now that you got your preset saved, you can go ahead and do save as, and then remember I told you I have a folder called Grantly Custom Templates. I don't know if you guys can see this, but when you do save as, where's the screen share option? Real quick, what is this nonsense? Come on. Okay, one second. Let me just do this real quick. No, it's not gonna work. Okay. Abort mission. Okay, so now you see this up here? This is where I'm saving the file from Ableton. So what I would do is I would just call this like Giselle custom template, and then I would save it over. I'm not gonna save it because like you already know what's gonna happen when I save it. It's just gonna be a save template. So you do save, and then whenever you go ahead and open up that file, you would just have that drum in there. You know what I mean? So let me open up Ableton again. Bring my face back. Hi, I'm back. Okay, cool. So if you want to go ahead and have it as a custom template, you would just open it up and that drum set would just be there for you whenever you opened it. So that's like really convenient for you. And word of advice, I would make 2 copies of it. I would go ahead and put like Giselle custom template 1, and then I would do a save as, and I would do like Giselle custom template 1 backup. So if you ever overwrite your first custom template, you have the backup to go to. And always remember, if you want to make that custom template and have your drum set be in there and whatever other effects and instruments you want, you would always open up that custom template, and immediately after opening it, you would do a save as. So that way, you would just open a template, all your stuff would be set up, and once you save it, you would just be working on a different project, so you wouldn't have to worry about overwriting your original template. So hopefully to answer your question. Amanda asks, so I am able to listen to my piece on a loop, but how do I record it? Now over here you're saying, how do you record it? I'm not really sure what piece you're talking about, so if you want to specify, I can go ahead and answer that question. And in the meantime, I guess I can go ahead and just kind of like you're saying I'd like to figure out how to do the lesson. Still, be a little bit more specific. I'm still kind of confused on what you mean. Oh, are you asking like to make like a 4 or 8 bar loop? I guess let me just go ahead and show you real quick. Alright, so let's just go ahead and select the measure. So a measure, if you look up here, let me open up Ableton again. If you look up here on the beat time ruler, you have numbers. So like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on and so forth. And one measure would be from the number 5 to 6 or from the number 6 to 7, just like an increase of one number in the beat time ruler, which you can see up here directly above Ableton or up top up here. So I went ahead and selected one measure, and I'm going to do Control Shift M to write a MIDI part. And I will just go ahead and draw in a simple drum part. So right there, that's the kick. I'm just going to do like a house beat, you know what I mean? Some boots and cats and boots and cats. So I believe you had a loop before, right? So and that's cool, you know, it's a single loop. But that's only one measure. In the assignment, I asked for like 4 to 8. So what you can do, turn the loop off, click on the MIDI channel right there, and you can click the Control D button to duplicate. So let's go ahead and duplicate it. So it's 4 bars long. So we duplicated it 4 times. So now you have 4 bars, because remember, one measure is 1 bar. Now you have 4 bars. And if we want to go ahead and turn those 4 bars into 8 bars, we can just highlight all 4 of them and duplicate it. And now we have 8 bars. So now we have an 8-bar loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So think about it like this. If one measure is 4 counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, you would have to count to 4 8 times to get an 8-bar loop. And then you would have to count to 4 4 times if you want a 4-bar loop. And the way you count it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. So you just swap out the first number with however measures you're counting, or however many bars you're counting. So that would be the way to do the assignment. So that's how you write out like a MIDI part. And if you want to put in like audio samples, let's go back to the drums over here. It's these 4 little blocks on the left hand side under your categories. Let's say, for example, we want to put in a cymbal. You would just take like the audio file and you would drag it into an audio channel. And now we have the crash cymbal in audio channel and also the MIDI part playing at the same time. So if you look up here, this is the MIDI part. It starts on measure 5. And the crash also hits on measure 5. So we have, that crash is super loud, so we're going to turn it down a little bit. And say we want to go ahead and have a crash again at measure 9. Let's do that. And then we just put like a single kick drum hit on measure 13 with a crash to signify the song being over. So Amanda, hopefully that answers your question. If we want to go ahead and expand, this is kind of like a preview for like next week's lesson. I'm just going to go ahead and pull in a piano. We're going to go ahead and pull in the glass piano into MIDI channel number 2. And what I'm going to do next is open up, what is it called? The sample pack that I gave you guys. If I can find it. Sorry guys, a little bit embarrassing. I can't find my sample pack. There it is. Found it. I know what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and just drag one of these chord progressions into the piano part. Let me just grab this one. So now we have drums. I'm going to add a piano part. I don't like that one. And now we have a piano part. And what I'm going to do next is go ahead and insert another MIDI channel. So the keyboard shortcut for another MIDI channel would be Control-Shift-T. And within that MIDI channel, I'm just going to go ahead and copy this piano part. You can hold the control button while clicking and drag it down, and it will duplicate it for you, which is nice. Now they have this button right here. As you can tell right here, this is the piano roll with all the keys included. If you hit the full button, it will only show you the keys that are currently being played. So I like doing that because it makes it easier to edit MIDI. I'm just going to go ahead and only keep the low note of this particular song and duplicate that. Now what we can do is find a bass, and let's see what we got for the instrument rack. That sounds cool. Let's listen to what that sounds like. And let's hear what that sounds like with the rest of the song. And why not just throw in like some different rhythms. Let's put in like a little pulsating like bass line. Why not? Just make it sound cool. So now I just took the bass line or the low notes of the piano progression and I changed rhythm on them to make the bass line more exciting. So now this is what it sounds like. Let's put like a little drum fill at the end just to make it exciting, because we don't want to keep it too boring. So we'll just throw this in the mix. There we go, guys. That's how you make a song right there. Very easy to do. Not too difficult. Yeah, Amanda, don't worry. We will learn this soon enough. By the time week 3 happens, like, you'll find out how to do all this stuff. I know I do it kind of fast. You said like I kind of work quickly, but I've been producing music for quite some time now. And yeah, when you produce music or you do anything for like a long time, you just naturally get better at it. So the best advice that I can give you is the more time and effort that you're willing to put into your music production, the better off you're going to be as a music producer. And this concludes the rest of our feedback session. It was really nice meeting you guys and spending time with you. To all the people that submitted your assignments, way to go. I'm really proud of you guys for starting off on the right foot. On the right foot. And for everyone else that is still working, getting acclimated with the new schedule, just make sure to do your assignments, because if you guys stick with it, this is going to become really easy and you're going to get really good. If you guys just kind of like put it aside and don't really spend too much time on it, it's not going to be that easy, and music production is not going to work so well for you. But yeah, it's been real. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next week.